And it doesn't matter what it is that you want to transform, why don't we just transform together? If you're overweight, if you're stiff and sore, if you've got pains and aches and everything, if you realise that you've lost your flexibility, if you're menopausal and you can't stand the symptoms, this will fix it. I'm Shelley Way, I'm 54 and I have decided that I really need to transform certain areas of my life. And you've probably clicked on this video because you're interested in the physical transformation. And yes, that is one of the areas that I need to transform. Over my life, I'll explain where I've been with that and where I'm going with that and why. And it's actually quite a detailed story, which I'll get to a bit later. But there are other areas of my life that I also need to transform. I'm a high school principal. I am a workaholic. I always have been. And no matter how hard I have tried, I have not been able to shake it. Thus the mission. So the other areas of my life that I aim to transform, the wonderful signs of menopause. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. So I want to get rid of those symptoms. I want to, yes, transform my body. I want to I want to destroy my workaholism. I want to increase deep connections in my life. I also want to improve my overall emotional well-being because I have this tendency to overdo things. I'm a pretty high achiever, and if you're watching this, I bet you are too. I'm a high achiever. I tend to overdo things and go hell for leather like a bull at a gate. And it's not that I fall in a heap. I just get left with this emotional drain, I suppose. And I just... You know, that coupled with being a high school principal, it really did put me down a path of burnout. And I hadn't realised that until I actually went, I'm so far gone, I need some long service leave, which I've had. So I've had long service leave now for 9 weeks and it has been transformational. But I've found this thing that is supposed to be called a life. And I don't really want to let that life go. Thus, the transformation is to be able to hold on to living, which I haven't been able to do because I've been such a workaholic. The other thing is the creative component of my life. I'm actually really arty and creative, and I have a whole other channel on this. If you're interested, you can go to it. But that is to help drought-proof my town, and that's a whole other thing which I'll dabble in from time to time. But that is also one of the missions is to partake in that, because as a workaholic principal, for the last 9 months, I hadn't done anything really on it. And, you know, that's just not good enough. If I'm trying to help drought-proof my town by creating features for tourism to come here that I donate to the town at my own expense, then I've got to actually get on with it and do things and not just be so exhausted every day that I can't actually do anything else. And the other overall main aim that I have is to make the same amount of money that I do now as principal, but really feel a deep sense of fulfillment, connection, like I'm doing the work that I'm really deeply meant to be doing that really matters to people. And whether that be as a principal or someone else doing something else. Over the next 9 months, we'll see, because the aim of the game is to transform these areas of my life over 9 months. Physically, what I want to achieve is get back to a size 12. And you might look at me and go, Shelley, you're beautiful, you look fine. I'll show you what I look like. Here's what I look like now. And you might look at these pictures and go, well, what do you want to change? However, let me tell you, I have been taking footage of me doing the creative stuff that I say, and I just couldn't believe how large and unhealthy I looked. And I'm going to show you some footage of that here, because that is not me. Now, the story that I need to change here is I need to present myself more as me. And you might be watching this because you too don't feel that you're presenting in some way, whether that be physically, emotionally, in your work, in your friendships, in your life, as the person that you feel that you are. The other area that I needed to transform is really making sure, and I've been trying more and more since I've been on long service leave, is to follow actual guidance. I do get downloads from Spirit, I do get guidance as to which way to go, but actually following that guidance and doing that regularly on a regular basis, that is the other aspect that I need to transform in my life. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, there are aspects of that I want to transform and other areas as well, or something different, well, wouldn't it be better if we could do it together? Maybe the point of this is to have a bit of a community and we do this together. So if that's you, keep watching, because this is part of my connection thing, that I'd like to create such deep connections with others wherever and whoever. If you're over 50 and you're at a point in your life where you know that you need a change, that you need to transform something, because really when you stop and look at it, things aren't working the way that you want them to, and really haven't done for a while, no matter what you've done about it. Well, maybe transforming on our own is not what we're meant to do. Maybe we're meant to do that as a team. So if that's the case, you're probably time poor like me. I'm incredibly time poor as a principal. That's part of my workaholism. But what I will do, I'm just going to create a little free thing, August 8th. If you're interested, just join me. Just go to the link, August 8th, 2026, that is. And maybe we can do it together. You can transform together and support each other in the process. I'll give you a quick rundown of my body story. I was pretty much dieting from the age of 4. Yeah, 4. Always had issues. I'm endomorph, like I'm chunky. I just am, and that's my body. And then on top of that, yes, I have overeating issues, and I bodybuilt for 28 years. I got to the point in 2020 where I decided that was the year I was going to compete. This was before COVID happened, but I decided I was going to compete that year. And despite everything I did, and I had a personal trainer, and he trained me, and I was in the best condition of my life. Here's a couple of pictures here, but I was so worn out because the competitions kept going later and later and later. And you might be looking at this going, oh, well, you've been a bodybuilder and I'll just go away from this channel. I haven't been for the last 6 years. I haven't done anything. I was so traumatized from that experience that I couldn't actually walk into a gym. I couldn't do any exercise. If I did try to exercise, and I don't mean even going for a 20-minute walk, I would be on the floor in my lounge room asleep, because my body was so traumatized that it wouldn't let me do anything. I couldn't go into the gym. I couldn't exercise. I was just permanently exhausted. And so I really couldn't exercise for like 2 years at all after looking like this, and I blew up to a size 16. And that's my own fault. I did that. I actually passed out at work because I was starving so much that every day I had to stop myself from passing out 30 times a day whilst at work. Yeah, it looks great. The pictures look great, but that was the reality. That was my reality. I'm an endomorph. My body doesn't want to do that. And I was forcing it to do that. And I was doing endless cardio and training every second day. It was hectic, but I had to just leave it all. I had to just drop the ball. I couldn't do it anymore. And so for the last 6 years, I have just eaten whatever I want and done whatever I want. And gradually over the years, I've been able to gradually introduce exercise, and my body, it went in little phases of just doing a 20-minute circuit in the gym. And, it started off as 10 minutes and, being able to walk on the treadie for 10 minutes, and then, I could build up and jog for 10 minutes. So it's been a process. But to transform, when I look back about everything that I have done in my life, and I have done every version of trying to lose weight, I was always on diets, always on something. The only thing that really worked was this process. So the process is that 5 to 6 meals a day. I could only usually eat 5. 6 was too much, but you'd have a fist-sized portion of protein and a fist-sized portion of carbohydrate. And then there is the weights component in the gym, which is basically you do 4 body parts at a time, and they only take 10 minutes to do each body part, and they really hit the muscle, done. And compared to what I was doing, which is like half an hour per body part and about 5 different apparatus per body part, well, this is only 2 apparatus per body part. It takes 10 minutes per body part, and we only do gym sessions 3 times a week. It takes 45 minutes. And then 3 cardios a week, which is 20-minute cardios that escalate in intensity 4 times throughout the cardio. And historically, that has been the thing that I could stick to the most. And you're supposed to have a cheat day every week, but cheat days and me are not good friends because it just gives me an excuse to binge, and then I end up with eating habit problems. And for me, and this is just me, I'm not talking about for anybody else, but for me, I just have to trickle something that I want to eat throughout the week, like 4 or 5 times a week, rather than have that cheat day, because that cheat day I end up overeating and I end up becoming a monster, and I don't want to do that to myself or my body. I always have overeating issues. I don't think that's ever going to stop. That is just my coping mechanism of choice. If that's yours too, I'd love to hear about it. Put it in the comments. But that's me. So, but as I have said, I do aim to transform things, and yes, I'm going to be transforming my body, but not transforming. This is a 9-month process, and I'm going to be a whole different person in 9 months, and then I'll watch it all fall apart like I have my whole life. This is forever for me. Fist works for me, the cardios work for me, the gym works for me. That is a lot less in terms of exercise than I've ever done in my life. So I'm going to keep to that, because I need, now that I'm 54 and I'm only getting older, I have realised how the aches and pains set in, how the lack of flexibility sets in, how the menopause symptoms set in, how it's just so easy to not exercise, it's so easy not to move. I'm sorry, the sun is moving where the trees are, so I'm sorry if I'm a bit patchy. And I just can't, I can't keep, like, literally, as I roll this, I'm going to show you, I've realised, because I looked at my phone today, and I have taken like so many before photos over the years. Look at them all. I'm going to roll them all here. This is probably over the last four years, I have taken so many before photos, and I don't look any different. And yet you might look at my body and go, oh, look, what have you got to worry about? You look great. And I'm not discounting that, okay? But when I look at the footage from when I'm crafting and creating, and I'll show you some of that footage here, I don't want to be that person anymore. Like, that is not the me that I feel like I need to be. So physical thing is, yes, one thing that I want to change, and I will do that over the course of 9 months, but it's really a for the rest of my life thing. It's Body for Life. Like, this is for my life. Now, if you're interested in Body for Life, I'm not selling you this. This is not something for me to sell. Just Google Body for Life, and someone has put Body for Life up for free somewhere on some internet somewhere. So it's literally free. You can download it and read what you got to do. It's a whole book, but it's pretty old. I think it was late 90s the book came out, I think. Late 90s? Yeah. I think it was like 98, something like that. I'm not sure, 99 the book came out. So it was a lot of years ago, and so it might seem old, but my gosh, it works. So I'm going to go back to that. So that's my whole body story. So I want to increase my strength. I want to increase my fitness. I want to get back to a size 12. I want to get back to muscly, sculpted looking me. I want to have a flat tummy and a strong core, because I have a real sway back, and I always have historically had lower back pain. And I noticed that was just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So I constantly have to do things to strengthen my core. I've got one of those vertebrae sits forward towards my belly button more than it should. And because of that, I always have lower back pain. So I always have to do things in order to address it. A chiropractor tore my lower back when I was 20. So I've always had lower back problems ever since. So that is the reason why I just want to look more like myself. Now, if you're overweight, if you're stiff and sore, if you've got pains and aches and everything, if you realize that you've lost your flexibility, if you're menopausal and you can't stand the symptoms, this will fix it. Because I tried this for 2 weeks, and oh my God, every day I couldn't believe the hot flushes were gone. The lack of sleep was gone. And I mean in a couple of days of actually coming back to Body for Life. And you might think, well, why are you starting again? Long story, I had to retile my bathroom. As I said, I got a lower back issue, and I knew that my body couldn't tile the bathroom and keep up all the exercise as well, because my lower back has its limits. So there's only so far I can push it. So I'm back again, but the menopause symptoms started to come back because I wasn't in the gym and exercising regularly with the cardios either, and eating correctly. So it took me about 2 weeks to tile my bathroom. It's only small. It just took me forever. I don't understand. Anyway, there's some pictures of my bathroom, not that you needed that. So now that's only one component. So that is only a portion of what I want to transform, like a fifth or a sixth of what I want to transform. The other thing is I'm a workaholic. And I used to look at my dad, who was a workaholic, and think, I don't want to be like that. But I have been. I have been like that forever. And I have tried my guts out to not work like that. And I still do. So it's actually more of a commitment for me to come on here and say, my aim is to transform my work. And I don't want to say work-life balance. I just need to freaking work less, and I need to stop overworking. I have this tendency, as I've said, to overdo things, and I just don't want to overdo it anymore. Like, I need to restore my emotional well-being levels, and I score them out of 10. And today I'm a 9 out of 10, and it hasn't always even been like that over my break. But I really need to look after my emotional well-being more, and I haven't been. I have been working too much, and I don't want to do that anymore. And so if I'm in a job, I only want to work 35-hour weeks, regardless of the flaming job. That's it. And I always, as principal, I always feel like there's always more work to be done. Like I never get to finish things. I'm always interrupted. I can't just get a run on things for very long. And it just steals my time, and then I have to do all this work in my time because I never get to do it in the time that I'm at work. I can't keep doing that to myself. So my mission and my goal is actually, in my work life, whatever work I do, I want to feel deeply fulfilled, deeply connected. I want to feel joy. I want to feel satisfied, and I want to make sure that I want to feel like I'm actually doing something that truly deeply matters to people. Okay, so that's my aim. And ultimately, in the long run, I want to earn the same amount of money as I do as principal, but within those parameters. So working far less, 35-hour weeks, or even ultimately one day, a day and a half a week to earn the same amount of money. That's my ultimate. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but that would be an ultimate plan. Then I would like to, because as I said, I work so much, I'm so spent from work that, and I get a lot of connection at work, don't get me wrong, but deep connections for me is the other thing I need to transform. And it doesn't have to be people that are physically near me. One of the things that I need to transform is real deep connections to other people, which is also part of the reason why wouldn't it be nice to have a community of people that aim to transform things in their lives. And it doesn't matter what it is that you want to transform, why don't we just transform together? I think that sounds potentially like a really good idea. Well, I think it's a good idea. If that interests you, do go to the link, because I'm going to do that on August 8th. We're just going to, your time, Paul, it's only going to be like a half an hour, 40-minute sesh where we all chat about what it is that we want to transform and basically set our goals and parameters around achieving it. And don't worry, if you want to transform your body, you don't have to do Body for Life. This isn't me telling you what to do. You might have your other plans about what you're going to do, but why not be in a community who's actually going to transform their lives at the same time? I'm going to be doing this regardless, and I'll be posting about it regardless, but you know, community is always helpful, because I've bodybuilt my whole life, well, until 6 years ago, bodybuilt for all those years by myself. I rarely had a training partner, and if I did, they had usually moved away within 9 months, or I had moved away. I've always done it on my own, always on my own. Well, there's a sore point, always on my own. And I don't have a problem with doing it on my own, but wouldn't it be nice if I could share it? Wouldn't it be nice if we could do it together for once? I don't know. If you're always trying to do these things but on your own, leave a comment. I'm just tired of doing it on my own. So that comes down to the deep connection thing. That is one of the things that I'm aiming to transform within 9 months. Then I did mention before that I also get downloads from Spirit. I do get guidance. When I'm in the right headspace, I get guidance. And if you know my channel, you can look at some of the previous videos. I'll put some here. I do get downloads from Spirit to give guidance to viewers, but basic parameters about what to do and how to do it, I guess. And so my aim for myself is to allow guidance to guide me and follow that guidance. Look, this is the bit where you'll probably go off this and never want to watch these again, because I seem like a crazy person, and I probably am. But I create really large features and sculptures for my town because I want to help drought-proof my town. Oh, there's a long story as to why. If you want to see the story as to why, go to this link. But I create large sculptures for town, but I've been so spent that I haven't been doing them. And I really enjoy them. I really enjoy doing my sculptures for town, and I build them and donate them for the town. This is a tiny little town called Warialda is where I live in Australia, and my town is literally is interpreted, Warialda means place of wild honey. So it's a bee themed town. So I built R2B2. Yes, R2B2. I still think it's hilarious all these years later. And he got decapitated in a storm and I had to restore him. And so I've done a YouTube of that. That's here. And then I also built Bumblebee Transformer, obviously, because it's a place of wild honey. It's a bee themed town. So he's in the main street. There he is there. If you ever come to Australia, do come to a little Warialda, because the idea is to try to get tourism here so that we don't keep losing entire families in the next drought that hits, which won't be that far away, I don't think. That is the whole point of why I'm doing these for town. So the reason why I need to preserve my work-life balance, as it were, and actually not be such a bloody workaholic, is so that I have the emotional capacity to do the creations, which I really enjoy doing. They're as frustrating as anything, and I'm always butting my head against a brick wall in creating them. But I'm sorry, my dog, restore my body. Oh, and the other thing is to look 20 to 30 years younger than I am. And you might think, Shelley, you already look really young. Yeah. But here's some footage, here's some pictures of what I took last night. I'm like, gels don't look young. These things that happen, like in this light, yes, I'm probably presented quite nicely. But in the other footage that I'm showing you here when I'm sculpting, no, that is not the me that I want to be. So I want my skin to look better. And I find with bodybuilding it does. I find that when I am training with weights and doing regular exercise and eating better, all of that corrects itself. So that is what the aim is so transform my body in lots of different ways, including the menopause symptoms, reduce the amount of hours that I work and feel far more fulfilled and happy and content and excited and jazzed and feel like I'm really doing something meaningful with my work, to earn the same amount of money that I earn as a principal now, working far less. I want to improve my connections with deep connections with other people. I want to follow guidance, get guidance and follow it. And I also want to make sure that I have creation time to create the things for my town. So that is my mission, and it'd be great if you follow me along. I never wanted to be the person that asks you to like or subscribe, but I'm going to be doing this anyway, so I'll be transforming those things. Yes, the outside shows transformation, but it's more about the other stuff in my life that I really need to transform. I've applied for other things, but I haven't heard anything from them, and they all closed ages ago. So I don't know what that means, but maybe the point is that I have to start transforming, which is why I'm here. And yeah, I'll post from time to time footage of me actually doing the exercise and stuff. So if you'd like to transform your life as well in any way, in even the tiniest way, and it might just be physically, it might be emotionally, it might be you're also a workaholic, it might be that you want to develop a garden, it might be that you want to transform your look, doesn't matter, whatever it is that you want to transform, please join. Why not join a little group? So anyway, we'll be doing our very first get together for completely free on August 8th, and maybe that's the start of the connections that I'm desperately needing. You're probably watching this because you're a busy person. You probably have to run things for your household and everything runs around you, but maybe this is one thing for you, finally, once and for all. Like, your friends are great and everything, but they need things and you can count on them to a point, but when you need them to commit to transforming something, you know that you can only rely on them for a week or two and then they'll fall by the wayside, but you're still left with the burning desire to change something. Well, that's what this is about, I hope, for not only me, but for all of us. I hope to see you there.